Okay, so I was just talking about Aisha's army is defeated, but due to her status, Ali gives her amnesty. In Syria, there's more opposition against Ali by Uthman's kinsman, Muawiyah. Okay, he's an important character, controversial in this story, nonetheless. Ali tries to arbitrate with Muawiyah. Extremists kill actually Ali for making a compromise that were actually supporting Ali, and this ends essentially this era of the rightly guided ones. I also want to just kind of point out that you see there's a portrait picture depicting Ali. Shiites generally tend to be more acceptable of pictorial art than you see within trends of the Sunni world for various sets of reasons. I just kind of wanted to point that out as well. So in 661, supporters of Ali claim his son Hassan should be made caliph. Yet he makes an agreement with Muawiyah and he steps out of the way, meaning Hassan. So this is going to get complicated, but this is where these conflicts happen. I put here, this is a Saudi cleric who is expressing his praise towards Muawiyah. Muawiyah is not praised by the Shiites. But anyways, he founds the Umayyad dynasty, okay, as we learned in the text. And he moves the capital from Medina to Damascus. Let it be take note now, that Saudi Arabia, which is now Saudi Arabia, though it's the birthplace of Islam, no major Muslim dynasty is going to want to be located in Arabia. They're going to locate their capitals in other places. Okay, you're just going to see that happen. Okay, so this is founded in Damascus, which is now Syria. Okay, and I hope it looks as beautiful still, but with the civil war that's taking place, the tragedy that's going on in Syria right now, I'm sure things don't quite look this calm or nice. But anyhow, so we move on to talk about Yazeed and the origins of the Sunni Shiite split. Now, these are definitely Shiite pictures, okay? And you really don't see this kind of artwork depicted like this style in the Sunni tradition. You just normally don't. In a certain sense, it has a Roman Catholic feel even, doesn't it? I mean, that's just my personal subjective opinion and observation. But what happens is that after the death of his father Muawiyah, Yazid takes power, and then there's the second civil war of Muslims occur. Okay, and what's going to happen now is going to take place in southern Iraq. And this is where it gets significant to try to follow kind of like some of the things that's been happening even in modern times. So the Muslims of Kufa, calling themselves the partisans of Ali, Shiat Ali, that's what it means, partisans of Ali. So sometimes we say Shia, that's more precise to the Arabic. And there's a little soft sound that gives it a T when there's a word after, which is why sometimes it's Shiat Ali, like, okay. And then Shiite is another term that works in English, okay. I sometimes use both. But in any case, they claim that Hussein, the second son of Ali, should be caliph. Okay. So remember I told you now, when there's this guy claiming to be caliph in Iraq now, and that some people in the media are like, oh my goodness, all the Muslims are going to follow him or something. No. Even back then, at the beginning, not everybody who claimed to be caliph was easily just getting every Muslim to follow them. Okay? All right. Anyhow, so Hussein leads a battle party, and they meet at Karbala in southern Iraq. So southern Iraq is ground zero for the birthplace of Shiite religion and the split and the tensions between the Shiites and the Sunnis. Hussein apparently thought he was going to have more people to have his back, but him and his supporters are totally outnumbered, and him and his family are slaughtered. Okay, and this is considered, this martyrdom, for Shiites, Yazid is like Judas and this devil all into one. Okay, and this moment, if you see even the way the pictures of depicting the head chopped off, that Hussein is like a Jesus figure here. And there is this tremendous injustice that takes place, a terrible thing where something is awful and has to be commemorated and remembered. Even his child being killed. Okay, now this is graphic picture. You don't have to look if you're sensitive to blood. This is something that only Shiites do. And I had a Sunni. I was teaching one of my classes. He just said, "Oh, they make Muslims look bad." Now, I'm not getting involved in this Shiite Sunni talk. I'm just letting you know. Here's an example of something they do very different. Now, what's this? The day of Ashura. It is commemorated by Shiite Muslims as a day of mourning for the martyrdom of Hussein ibn Ali, Hussein the son of Ali, the grandson of Muhammad at the Battle of Karbala. And what happens is that there's this idea that they collectively kind of punish themselves for perpetually for all time for not having been down, basically, and to commemorate the tragedy that took place. Some scholars believe they may have gotten this idea from Christian groups. The idea of flagellating oneself and punishing oneself to kind of retain favor with God has popped up in Christian groups and others in various parts of the world. In any case, it's something unique to them, and it's done heavily in Iraq, southern parts. Okay. Now, so they end up on the losing side of the power game. And so the first dynasty to be established is what would be called the Sunni one. And the Sunni word comes from those who follow the Sunnah, the path of the Prophet Muhammad. And so then I needed to kind of also clarify. Sorry, I needed to back up a little bit. So Shiites then see the bloodline that the following should have been through the family, the household of the Prophet. For the Sunnis, simply the one that is basically ordained by God, the best qualified leader within the Islamic Ummah, the community, okay? And so that's like the kind of political conflict that takes place there, that's rooted in. Now, there's chaos after the killing of Ali's son and so forth, but Abdul Malik ends up bringing back unity in 692. And he and his successors are going to make Arabic the official language of the administration, spread Islam from North Africa to Spain and Central Asia, and he's going to favor Syrian Monophysite Christians, the Jacobites, over other Christians. And the same reason why Persia favored Christians that were opposed to their enemy in Rome, the Byzantine, basically Christians that were considered unorthodox, were going to get favorable position because that would put them, less of a threat politically as well. And again, here they are working with Christians in as subjects. Arabic coins are replaced with Greek, Coptic, and Persian. And the Dome of the Rock, now that's in Jerusalem, is constructed under this period in 691, located by Yemenite Jewish. For Jews, they consider him an apostate. For Muslims, he's a convert. His name was Ka'b al-Akhbar. Okay, and this is a controversial point of contention within Israel with religious Orthodox Jews, or some branches, anyways. All right. The Umayyads, as we know, are going to last, and they're going to lose favor and end up in Spain. But I'll return to that whole development in a second. So here's a picture just kind of depicting how quickly the expansion of Islam is taking place. Okay, within the death of the Prophet Muhammad, after, you just looked at all this infighting, and it probably didn't look that appealing to you in that context. Shiites and Sunnis, killing each other in these blood battles. But there was something happening. For a religious Muslim, they had to have God's backing to explain it. And But for historians, it also we have to look at many different things in terms of what were the conditions. It was very interesting that it spread so fast. Okay, and then ultimately we're going to see that the whole entire world is essentially is becoming an Islamic world, and the Eastern Roman Empire is going to be hit by that way more than the Western. Okay, but I am going to stop there, and then we're going to move on from there to the Abbasids.